The United States has some of the world's best hospitals and some of the world's best doctors working in them.
We have an extraordinarily capable health system.
And yet, when COVID-19 came ashore, something didn't click.
For 6-8 weeks, we weren't paying attention to the pandemic. We weren't preparing. We weren't stockpiling the things we're going to need. We weren't getting our beds ready. We weren't getting ventilators ready. And then the biggest issue is we wasted 2 months not getting testing prepared and ready.
And when tests became available, many weren't sure if their health insurance would cover the cost for those fortunate enough to have coverage. Most Americans are insured through their employer. During the pandemic, many lost their jobs, and with it, their benefits. But even before COVID-19 hit, roughly 1 in 12 Americans were uninsured, with half citing the high cost of coverage as the reason. The pandemic has highlighted the gap in health care coverage and the gap in health.
The disease itself has just unfolded something that's existed in African American communities across the nation, which is there's a higher burden of underlying disorders such as high blood pressure, diabetes, heart disease in this population. And so there is a disproportionate number of deaths that are happening in the African American community, in minority communities, in poorer neighborhoods.
Still, half of black adults say they won't get a COVID-19 vaccine when it becomes available. Many African Americans still troubled by a history of abuse by medical research.
We have to see when it's all done what the efficacy profile looks like, and very importantly, what the safety profile looks like, and then communicate it to the public saying this is potentially life-saving, please take this.
Donald Trump's Operation Warp Speed has focused on expediting a vaccine.
It has nothing to do with elections. This has to do with delivering safe, effective vaccines to the American people as quickly as possible and saving people's lives.
The president brought American big pharma, normally competitors, to work together. But the U.S. is among the only countries in the world that's refused to join a global campaign to ensure vaccines will be distributed fairly to both rich and poor nations. Well, Democrats, more so than Republicans, consider health care to be a top election issue. COVID-19 has shined a light on the system's disparities. Joe Biden blames Donald Trump, a historic failure of leadership, he says. He's hoping voters agree. Roe Ruttenberg, CGTN in Washington.